Hello Taurus friends, my name is Annie Botticelli. Welcome to my January 10th, 2020 full moon lunar eclipse at 20 degrees of Cancer report for Taurus. This is very specific to Taurus, and I'll go into lots of detail about your specific Taurus placement, like drill down into exactly where you are in the Taurus spectrum to show you where the very likely manifestations of the drama, the jaw-dropping surprises, the brilliant, awesome new opportunities, the tearful goodbyes, where all of those things are likely to occur for you in what arenas of life for Taurus. This Capricorn Cancer polarity spectrum of eclipses started in the middle of 2018 and runs through the middle of 2020. So here we are now at the second to last chapter of this storyline. So if you pay attention and you watch the things that I'm talking about, you'll see that there's been this storyline that has been in effect for this period of time, and we're at another chapter now. Anything can happen from eclipses at any time during that couple of year range that they're taking place, but the 4 to 6 weeks or closer that we get to the actual eclipse, the more it gets ramped up for news. The first eclipse in this cycle is in December, and I actually cover the December manifestations for Taurus in the November report for Taurus, because since we feel them early, I did that so you could see early when that starts manifesting. And I'm now going to cover this Taurus second eclipse in January as a separate video, okay, rather than rolling it into the regular monthly. So if you want to have more information about what's up for you, I go into so much more detail. I'm known for this. You can go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, check out my detailed blogs. You can sign up for my free email newsletter, where you get my 28-day virtual coaching program for free called Shine. You'll also get my written report of the astrological aspects of note, their dates, what's occurring, what you can expect from them 1 month early delivered into your inbox. And if you love how I teach and you want to learn, you can see my astrology apprenticeship program at anniehelpsyou.com. For written horoscopes and great reads for each sign each month, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. And if you missed either of those websites, they're in the notes if you click more underneath this video. Okay, so for those of you who have been watching my videos for a while, I have finally figured out how to do a split screen. So usually when I switch over to the visuals, you will not see me anymore. But now you can see me and the visuals at the same time. Okay, very exciting. So to best use this information, you'll want to know where in the Taurus spectrum you are. April born are basically our 0 to 9 degrees, middle Taurus. So that's early. Early is April born or 0 to 9 degrees. Middle is around May 1st through 10th or 10 to 19 degrees. And late is around May 11th through the rest of the sign or 20 to 29 degrees. Okay, so let's get that over there. And we'll get this over here. Okay, so the basic overview, this is a report for Taurus for January 2020 full moon lunar eclipse at 20 degrees of Cancer. All zodiac placements are likely to have fourth house manifestations of this eclipse because the fourth house is ruled by Cancer, so Cancer is being activated for everyone. And especially you early degree placements, not only will you have this through the sign, you'll also have this through the house. Okay, so early degree, this fourth house tutorial that I'm going to get into details is double true for you. But all early, middle, and late degree Taurus placements are likely to see effects in the third house. So we'll see what that looks like. But first, I'm going to give you a very, very quick visual on why this could be a little bit different. I'm an astrology teacher, so I like to show you the whys, not only the what, and then I will go into lots of detail about what I've seen over doing thousands of live readings and horoscopes for years and tracking these myself, practical ways I've seen these, or like mundane, actual ways I've seen these eclipses take place. Okay, so when we're looking for, okay, don't be thrown off by the fact that that's December. We're looking at a static point, which is the eclipse on a chart. We're not looking at planets in transit, so it doesn't matter what that date is there. 20 degrees of Cancer for the early chart is in the third house like everybody else, but it's right on the line there to the fourth house. Okay, so when it's close to the line there, the manifestation of the house can go that way too. But as you go later in the sign, it drops back. Okay, so now here, oh, actually, sorry about that. Here, 20 degrees is very clearly in the third house for the middle degree chart. And in the late degree chart, it's also very clearly here. Okay, third house. So, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details about this particular point, but you late degree people might also see money changes for better or worse. Okay, but there's just a slight chance of that for you late degree placements. We're not focusing on that. But definitely if you watch the Gemini report, you will see information about how that second house, if you're a very late degree person, and in general, very late degree people, I do recommend that you check out the charts and the horoscopes for the following sign, because sometimes those things are a little more true for you. But you still are being included here, late degree placements, because this third house manifestation is almost certain for all of you. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop in the tutorial for the third house, and I'm going to drop in the tutorial for the fourth house, and all of those are going to be true for all Taurus placements. Eclipses bring major changes, major news, and major events. And although sometimes we observe other people having the changes and we're holding space for them, very often we are the ones that are having the changes when the eclipses occur in these certain placements. When there's an eclipse in the third house or Gemini, one of the sectors of life that is very much brought into the forefront is communication. So this can be interpersonal communication, the way that you relate to others, your communication style. I very often will talk on this topic about how our nervous system has been imprinted with the tones, with the things said and not said by our parents or primary, child rearers, that get laced into our way of talking. And so going deeper into how, well, actually, in many cases, violence is just imprinted in to our language, whether it's passive aggressive or, if a parent is stressed and it goes into the speech and the kid gets imprinted with it, then it rolls into our communication style. So in-depth opportunities to look at how we're communicating. And again, this comes up at this time, but it has to do a lot of times with how we experience someone else. So if we think they're being harsh or they're not being fair or they're being, in a certain way, sometimes those things can serve as reflectors for us at this time about our own personal communication patterns. And the more we can own that, if we're having communication issues with other people, that we can own our part of it and where it came from and how we're attracting it in, the more we can use the opportunity that comes at this time with the eclipse cycle. So interpersonal communications, I always like to recommend the book Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg, where he outlines this, plus a plan to shift it. I really love his work because he gets people together that are basically warring with each other, sometimes very seriously warring with each other, gets them in the same room, teaches them this communication system in order to help people get better outcomes, to reach common goals with their communication. So that's a big one that I see. Devices are another part of this. So, issues with devices, dropping phones in toilets, having new devices, having to have them or choosing to upgrade, or any kind of change with communication. Anything having to do with systems, your system of communication with people. So how, email, ways that you go, texting, ways that you go about communicating. So notable things occurring there, or changing how you relate to those particular ways. Something else that comes up a lot with third house eclipses and Gemini eclipses is transportation and mobility. So the modes of transportation, issues with a car or other vehicle, getting new ones. And again, I always talk about this. Eclipses often bring in new devices or transportation pieces, but definitely also pay attention to the time that it's occurring. So, if it's a personal planet retrograde, which I speak to more in the horoscopes, it may not be the time to voluntarily make a purchase, but if you can just, watch the general transits as they relate to the eclipse season and time your purchases if possible, that can be helpful. But in general, this topic will come up. It's a time to not ignore when your car is doing something weird. That's the bottom line. It's a time to make a pledge to not text and drive, and remember that before we could text and drive, we didn't. So therefore we still can manage to get from place to place without texting or even talking on the phone. Anything that can interfere with the driving, because this energy can increase the energy of accidents. And so even if you're walking or biking, avoiding being distracted while those things are happening, look to, be extra careful with your physical body as it relates to other people moving and you moving around. This energy also has to do with physical mobility. So if there's been an injury, sometimes there's an injury from the eclipse or related to the eclipse, or sometimes there's a healing moving along a continuum of regaining mobility, a different chapter of mobility. Writing and editing and some different aspects of your expression can come up at this time. So writing projects and opportunities. Also, relatives that aren't parents or kids are related to the third house in Gemini. So cousins, siblings, aunts, uncles, things like that are in this house. So notable connections with these people or opportunities or progress along a continuum can often come in as a third house eclipse chapter. Gemini can also relate to social settings and some aspect of, relating in a social scene. So notable interactions in the social scene can also come up at this time. So a quick summary of some of the ways to best use this energy is to respond to the things that occur. So if there's a symptom, if something's going on, look into it. Pay attention to the opportunities that come and take them seriously. And follow your hunches in these areas. Make a promise to yourself for accountability. So, ask yourself how you are the common denominator in your interactions, and do whatever is relevant to the situation to own your part and to work with your part of the dynamic. Pay extra special attention as you're moving around and have much extra care and extra focus. And be prepared to blow the dust off of old writing projects or start new writing projects or get down into the cleaning up of communications or other writing projects that have already been in process. Okay, so eclipses tend to bring changes in trajectory, new opportunities coming to fruition of things in process, surprises, drama, bright openings, notable things in the forefront of home and family, and some other headers. So we're going to look at some common ways that I have seen the fourth house or Cancer eclipses manifest. Home and housing. So many people will move during an eclipse cycle where there's a fourth house or Cancer eclipse, moving to a new place. Some people, this will include like a bilocation or a multiple location. Like if you have a house already, you can set up a second residence or a different residence in addition to the one you already have. For some people, it manifests as just a complete, clean, different move. Sometimes it's a temporary move or a temporary change in housing. This energy very much can rule sales, or sales or purchases of homes, getting a home ready for sale, purchasing a new home. Even though eclipse time very often brings these into the forefront, definitely always pay attention to the other information I give for the horoscopes at that time to understand how other transits that can be occurring at the same time as the eclipse season can interfere or enable contractual arrangements and big steps. Very often, a fourth house eclipse will have to do with the changing of occupancy within your home. So let's say you're there and you stay there and the house is the same, but someone moves out or someone moves in. Or you start using your home for home-based business. The starting of a home-based business is very common. At bringing on, an Airbnb or any other home-based business where you're working online. making repairs or making additions or changes to the home. And again, with these kind of things, definitely pay attention to the other aspects of the time, because, minor repairs can be fine at any time, but if you're going to do major additions, there are other astrological factors that I always speak to in the horoscopes that can be relevant. But I do see these eclipses tend to bring movement along these fronts with things like this. Changes in or notable things going on in family, and that's your family that you live with or your family that you came from. Drama, solutions, healings, people getting married, so there's new entrances to the family, people having separations, children, new children coming into the family. I see a focus on ancestry and genealogy come up very often in this. You might find out you have a relative that is notable. You might connect with someone in your genealogy. You may become really interested in tracking your ancestry or genealogy. Or someone may contact you. Childhood psychology is another thing I see come up. There are rhythms at play in our lives, and and things tend to be cyclical. So the things that you're experiencing now, a lot of the ways that you feel right now, you felt as a child, and that had to do with childhood imprinting and many other factors. But the relationship between what you're experiencing now and what happened as a child, and possibly even prior to, if you believe in past lives or if you believe in genetic memory manifesting as our experience. So, attention to what's happening now as it relates to the past, and doing inner work to help stop the cycles for yourself and your family. So that I see that often come up with the 4th house eclipses or Cancer eclipses. So in general, with the 4th house or Cancer eclipse, be prepared to focus on your inner world, or the things closest to you, like home level, family level, history, and your emotional or inner space. I hope you feel very prepared now for eclipse season and understanding what kinds of changes may be ahead for you. Definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, to check out all of my astrology blogs and all of my other goodies there, including when you sign up for my free email newsletter, you will get a month early a written general transit report, including all of the notable aspects, the dates of the aspects, and what you can expect from each. And you'll also get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free when you sign up for my free email newsletter, besides other goodies there. If you want written horoscopes by me, go to cozybysweetstarlight.com, and all of the links that I give you are also in the notes underneath. If you just click more underneath the video, you'll see all the websites there. So at cozybysweetstarlight.com, I have lifestyle blogs for healthy living, and I also have written horoscopes, again, up 1 month early, so you can check out what else is going on for your sign 1 month early. If you'd like to learn astrology and you resonate with how I teach, then definitely check out my astrology apprenticeship program, also at anniehelpsyou.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I hope you have a wonderful eclipse season. Definitely check out my horoscopes, my individual horoscopes for each sign for you on my YouTube channel, Annie Botticelli YouTube. You can check out my monthly reports. I always have them up a month early. And definitely also check out the November report, because I do talk about the December eclipse and its manifestations in there. And those eclipse manifestations can echo out, January, February, even March beyond. So to have a good understanding about where the first eclipse hit, you can check out my November report where I go into lots of details about that for you. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.